Elijah slammed the door of his rusty pickup truck, the echo ricocheting through the quiet suburban street like a gunshot in the dead of night. "You're nothing but a goddamn mistake," his father's voice thundered from the porch, the words slicing through the air sharper than any knife. Tears streaming down his face, Elijah revved the engine and peeled out, leaving behind the only home he'd ever known, and the family that had just disowned him for loving another man. In the heart of small-town Texas, where the sun baked the earth into cracked clay and church steeples pierced the sky like accusatory fingers, Elijah Thompson had always felt like an outsider. Born to a devout Baptist family, he was the youngest of 3 boys, the one who never quite fit the mold. His brothers were football stars, destined for oil rigs or military service. But Elijah, he preferred sketching landscapes in his notebook and dreaming of cities where people like him didn't have to hide. It started in high school, that nagging pull toward something forbidden. Whispers in the locker room about fags and sinners made his stomach churn, especially when he caught himself staring a little too long at Jake, the quarterback with the easy smile. But Elijah buried it deep, dating girls to blend in, attending youth group to pray it away. Until college in Austin, where the liberal vibe cracked his shell wide open. That's where he met Aiden Ramirez, a transfer student from California with sun-kissed skin, piercing green eyes, and a laugh that could light up the darkest room. Aiden was openly gay, unapologetic, marching in pride events and volunteering at the LGBTQ Center. They collided in a literature class, debating Hemingway's machismo, and by the end of the semester, Elijah found himself in Aiden's dorm, their lips meeting in a kiss that shattered every wall he'd built. "I can't do this," Elijah whispered that first night, pulling away, his heart pounding. "My family. They'd kill me." Aiden cupped his face gently. "Then we'll keep it quiet until you're ready." "But Elijah, this you and me, it's not wrong. It's real." For 2 years, they navigated the shadows. Stolen weekends in Austin motels, late-night drives along the Colorado River, where they'd park and talk about dreams. Elijah wanted to be an artist, painting the raw beauty of America, the canyons, the coasts, the people who defied odds. Aiden dreamed of law school, fighting for rights in courtrooms where equality was still a battle. But secrets have a way of festering. Back home for Thanksgiving, Elijah's phone buzzed with a text from Aiden. "Miss you already. Can't wait to hold you." His brother, Mark, snatched it while Elijah was in the bathroom, and the explosion was inevitable. "You're disgusting," Mark spat, showing the message to their father. "How could you bring this shame on us?" Elijah's dad, a burly oil worker with calloused hands and a Bible on his nightstand, didn't yell at first. He just stared, disappointment etching lines deeper into his face. "We raised you better. This ain't natural. Get out." Elijah grabbed what he could, a duffel bag of clothes, his sketchbook, and fled to Austin. Aiden was waiting at their shared apartment, arms open. "We'll figure this out," Aiden said, holding him as he sobbed. "You're not alone anymore." But the wound festered. Elijah spiraled into depression, questioning everything. Was he a mistake? The word echoed in his dreams, a taunt from his past. Aiden pulled him through, enrolling him in therapy, encouraging his art. Slowly, Elijah began to paint again, canvases filled with vibrant colors, 2 men embracing under a Texas sunset, symbolizing hope amid rejection. As months turned to years, Elijah and Aiden built a life in Austin, a bubble of acceptance amid Texas's conservative undercurrents. Elijah landed a job at a graphic design firm, his talent shining through logos and campaigns that subtly promoted inclusivity. Aiden aced law school, interning at a firm specializing in civil rights. They adopted a scruffy rescue dog named Scout, and their apartment overlooking Lady Bird Lake became a sanctuary. But cracks appeared. Aiden's family, Mexican-American immigrants from Los Angeles, embraced Elijah like a son. Holidays with them were fiestas of laughter, tamales, and stories of crossing borders for a better life. It highlighted Elijah's loss, stirring resentment. "Why couldn't my family be like yours?" he'd mutter after calls home went unanswered. Tension peaked when Aiden proposed a road trip to California for his cousin's wedding. "It'll be good for us," Aiden insisted. "Meet my extended family. Show them how happy we are." Elijah hesitated. "What if they judge me? I'm just some white boy from Texas." "They won't. Trust me." The drive was magical, through New Mexico's deserts, Arizona's canyons, stopping at diners where they'd share milkshakes and plan futures. In LA, Aiden's family welcomed them with open arms. His abuela pinched Elijah's cheeks, calling him mi nieto adoptivo. At the wedding, under twinkling lights in a backyard garden, Aiden pulled Elijah onto the dance floor. As mariachi music swelled, they swayed, lost in each other. "I love you," Aiden whispered. "Marry me someday?" Elijah's heart soared. Yes. 1,000 times yes. But paradise shattered on the return trip. In a motel in Utah, Elijah's phone rang, his mother, after years of silence. "Your father's sick," she said, voice trembling. "Cancer. He wants to see you." Elijah froze. Aiden urged him to go. "Closure, babe. You need it." Back in Texas, the reunion was bittersweet. His father, frail in a hospital bed, looked at him with regret. "I was wrong," he rasped. "About everything. Forgive an old fool." Tears flowed. Elijah nodded, holding his hand. But when he mentioned Aiden, his father's eyes hardened. "Just don't bring him here." The betrayal stung. Elijah returned to Austin conflicted, pulling away from Aiden. "They want me back, but only part of me," he confessed. Aiden understood, but patience wore thin. Arguments erupted. "You can't live half a life," Aiden shouted one night. "Choose us or them." Elijah stormed out, seeking solace in old friends. Enter Tyler, a colleague at work, charming, straight, but flirtatious in a way that confused Elijah. One drunken evening at a bar, Tyler leaned in. "You're too good for that drama. Let me show you a simpler life." It was a kiss born of vulnerability, a momentary lapse. Elijah pulled away, guilt crashing over him. But Tyler, scorned, spread rumors at work. Elijah's cheating on his boyfriend. What a mess. The fallout was swift. Aiden heard through mutual friends, confronting Elijah. "Is it true?" Elijah broke down. "It was nothing. I was lost. Please." Aiden's eyes filled with pain. "I thought we were unbreakable." He left that night, suitcase in hand, heading to a friend's couch. Elijah was alone again, the mistake label branding deeper than ever. Weeks blurred into a haze of regret for Elijah. He threw himself into work, but the office whispers followed him like shadows. "Cheater, they'd murmur. His designs suffered, colors muted, themes dark. Scout whined at the door, missing Aiden's playful energy. Aiden, meanwhile, buried himself in cases at the firm, fighting for others' rights while his own heart fractured. Late nights, he'd scroll through photos, Elijah laughing at the beach, their first Pride parade in San Francisco, where they'd waved rainbow flags amid a sea of supporters. "How did we get here?" he'd whisper to the empty room. Reconciliation seemed impossible until a crisis hit. Elijah's father passed away suddenly, the cancer winning. At the funeral in his hometown, Elijah stood alone among relatives who offered condolences laced with judgment. His mother hugged him tightly. "He regretted pushing you away. In the end, he asked about your friend, Aiden," Elijah corrected softly. "He's more than that." Afterward, drowning sorrow in a local bar, Elijah ran into Mark, his brother. Surprisingly, Mark bought him a beer. Dad was stubborn. But life's too short for hate. "If this Aiden makes you happy, bring him next time." It was a spark. Elijah drove back to Austin, heart racing. He found Aiden at their old spot by the river, staring at the water. "I messed up," Elijah said, voice breaking. "But I choose you." Every time, Aiden turned, eyes wary. "Prove it." They talked for hours, unpacking the betrayal. Elijah admitted his fear of abandonment, how Tyler was a stupid escape. Aiden confessed his own insecurities, growing up as the only gay kid in his barrio, fighting for acceptance. "I thought you were my safe place," Aiden said. Forgiveness came slowly, rebuilt on therapy sessions and small gestures. They moved to a new apartment in Denver, Colorado, seeking fresh starts. The Rocky Mountains offered solace, hikes where they'd hold hands without fear. Elijah's art flourished. He exhibited pieces in galleries, one series titled Redeemed Mistakes, abstract portraits of love overcoming odds. But conflict loomed anew. Aiden took a high-profile case, defending a transgender teen sued by their school district for using the wrong bathroom. It thrust him into the spotlight. Protests outside the courthouse, death threats in the mail. Elijah worried constantly. "This is dangerous. What if something happens to you?" Aiden stood firm. "This is why I became a lawyer. For kids like we were." The trial was grueling, media circus amplifying every word. One night, after a heated day in court, Aiden came home exhausted. "They called me a pervert enabler today." Elijah pulled him close. "You're a hero." Intimacy reignited, passionate and tender. In bed, under flannel sheets, they'd whisper promises. "No more secrets," Elijah vowed. Yet, betrayal struck from within. Aiden's colleague, Sarah, a sharp attorney with hidden ambitions, leaked confidential case details to the opposition, framing Aiden. He was suspended, reputation tarnished. Who would do this? Aiden raged. Elijah suspected Sarah, who'd always eyed Aiden jealously. Digging through emails, with Aiden's permission, they found proof. Confrontation ensued in the firm lobby. "You sold me out for a promotion?" Aiden demanded. Sarah sneered. "The world's not ready for your kind leading the charge." It was a blow, but Aiden fought back, clearing his name in an internal investigation. The case won. The teen's rights upheld, a victory for progress. Emboldened, Elijah and Aiden decided to marry. In an intimate ceremony in the Colorado mountains, surrounded by Aiden's family and a few accepting friends from Elijah's past, including Mark, they exchanged vows. "You turned my mistakes into miracles," Elijah said, slipping the ring on Aiden's finger. Honeymoon in New York City, the epicenter of American dreams. They wandered Central Park, kissed atop the Empire State Building, attended Broadway shows where stories of love triumphed. But reality intruded. Back in Denver, Elijah's mother called, "I want to meet Aiden." Truly, the visit was tense but healing. Over dinner in Texas, she apologized. "I was scared. But seeing you too. This love, plain and simple, not all was rosy." Aiden's rising fame attracted backlash. A conservative group targeted them online, doxing their address, sending hate mail. One evening, eggs splattered their door, slurs painted in red. Elijah panicked. "We should move. Somewhere safer." Aiden refused. "Running isn't us. We'll stand and fight." High Treo came at a national LGBTQ conference in Washington, D.C., where Aiden was keynote speaker. Elijah accompanied, nervous amid the crowds. During Aiden's speech on equality, a protester rushed the stage, shouting, "Abomination!" Security intervened, but the chaos escalated. In the melee, Elijah shoved the attacker away from Aiden, taking a punch to the jaw. Blood trickled, but he stood firm. "You won't touch him." The moment went viral. Elijah, the quiet artist, defending his husband. Headlines blared, "Heroic stand for love." Support poured in. Donations to Aiden's firm. Invitations to speak. But the attack shook Elijah. In the hotel that night, bandaged and bruised, he confessed, "I thought I'd lose you." Aiden kissed his forehead. "You saved me." Like always, deeper bonds formed. They adopted a child, a boy from foster care, orphaned young, much like Elijah felt. Naming him Lucas, they navigated parenthood, teaching him acceptance in a world still evolving. Years passed. Elijah's art gained acclaim. A solo show in Manhattan featuring The Mistake Myth, canvases depicting journeys from rejection to redemption. Aiden rose to partner, influencing policy in Congress. Yet, a final betrayal loomed. Mark, now married with kids, revealed a secret. Their father had left Elijah out of the will initially, but amended it before death, including a note, "To my son, who taught me love knows no bounds." But Mark had hidden it, fearing family division. "I was wrong," he admitted over a tearful call. "Forgive me," Elijah did, inviting him to Lucas's birthday. Reconciliation full circle. In quieter moments, they'd sit on their porch, watching sunsets over the Rockies. "We proved them wrong," Aiden would say. Elijah smiled. "No. We proved love right. As Lucas grew, so did their legacy." The boy, with curly hair like Aiden's and Elijah's artistic flair, asked questions about their past. "Why did Grandpa call you a mistake?" "Dad," Elijah knelt. "I soft. Because he didn't understand." But love changes hearts. They volunteered together, pride events, shelters, schools instilling values of empathy. Aiden's firm expanded, pro bono work for marginalized communities. Elijah illustrated children's books on diversity, one titled No Mistakes in Love, becoming a bestseller. Challenges persisted. America shifted, laws protecting LGBTQ rights advanced, then backslid with political wins. During a Supreme Court hearing on marriage equality reaffirmation, Aiden testified, Elijah by his side in the gallery. Protesters outside chanted hate, but inside, Aiden's words rang, "Love isn't a mistake. It's the foundation of humanity." The ruling favored progress, a win celebrated nationwide. Back home, they toasted with friends, toasting to resilience. In their twilight years, settled in a coastal California home, Aiden's roots calling, they reflected. Health scares came. Aiden's heart surgery, Elijah's arthritis slowing his brushstrokes. But they endured, hands intertwined. One evening, watching waves crash, Elijah said, "If I could do it over, I'd choose you every time." Aiden grinned. Even the betrayals? Especially them. They made us stronger. Lucas, now an adult advocate himself, brought his partner home, a kind woman, proving love's spectrum. The family grew, inclusive and unbreakable. Elijah's final painting, unfinished on his easel when he passed peacefully at 78, depicted two young men standing defiant amid a storm, light breaking through. Aiden completed it, adding a caption, "Proved them wrong." At the funeral, attended by hundreds, activists, artists, family, Aiden spoke, "Elijah wasn't a mistake. He was my miracle, our world's beacon." In the end, their story wasn't just romance. It was a testament to humanity's capacity for change. From Texas rejection to national inspiration, they showed that love, with all its drama and depth, conquers. And in a divided America, that message endured, whispered in hearts, painted in legacies.